I don't think people are going to be running to get into Fantom or Solana, really. I mean,
Right.
this cycle. Why would you? You know, they don't work, and there's been fraud massively. So
Sure.
transitioning to something terrible that happened over the last week. Now, this is kind of interesting because this actually is technically DeFi. But, you know, you still have some people that don't have the best of intentions in that. So I want to talk for a minute. We don't talk about Fantom very much on here. There's, you know, various layer ones. Fantom was really one of the stars. The token is FTM from this past bull market. But it's basically been a rug city shitcoin extraordinaire for well, since the market started to go down, because Andre Cronje, who's like the lead developer, just decided to randomly walk away, and then he's back, and then he, you know, I am or I'm not, and I'm going to post about it on Twitter and everything. This L1 has been pumped by so many people, and it's just been complete shit with you know, nothing really going on. And now a lot of where the value has been bridged over into their system on the bridge called Multichain, which I can say, maybe you can hear the vitriol from me here because I've used it in the past. I didn't get burnt by this or anything, but it used to be called, I forget what the old name of it was, but it's called Multichain now. Basically, I want to say it's the founder or the creator of it, his sister or something like that, as you know, makes sense. Basically ran off with a bunch of cash from it. Multichain got totally rugged. And I mean, Fantom, it isn't dead. I mean, you know, it's as dead as Solana, I guess, speaking of another, you know, kind of crappy L1. But yeah, it's, you know, it's going to be a Fantom PH chain, I think, this time around. So a lot of the TVL got there from that bridge. Let's talk for a minute. I mean, like, I don't know how many thoughts you have on Fantom or Multichain specifically, Ewok, but I want to talk about like the security of bridges, because, you know, we talk about PulseChain on here a lot. We have the PulseChain bridge, if you want to expand on it a little bit. But, you know, this is a bridge that was used by millions and millions of people that's just, you know, unusable now. And the very important thing I want to make sure people understand, that if you have used multichain.xyz, I think is the actual address, make sure that you do go to revoke cash, which we'll be talking about probably a couple of times here tonight. And any permissions that you have for anything that isn't just your basic Uniswap or something like that, that you have high confidence in, and maybe, you know, even if it's a transaction you did a couple of years ago, I would revoke that. It does cost money on Ethereum. It's only like $1 or $2, but I would revoke any permissions that you've given for some of these bridges, because like on Multichain and on many of these bridges, you know, when you go into a bridge, it's going to ask you, you know, permission to spend all of your USDC or how much or whatever, and to revoke that later on, I think is a good thing. So what do you make of this story, Ewok, and the security of bridges in general?
Well, I find it funny. A lot of times, all these people, when they blame hacks, they blame a family member, and
yeah,
it's not the first time, right? I mean, we've seen it happen before, where it was a cousin or a brother or whatever it might have been. I think it's just an excuse. But I've never used Fantom. I've never used Multichain. I've just never explored over on that side. I came close at one point. I know, you know, our buddies DCC and those guys are still bullish on it. I don't know how.
I don't know if they still are now. I mean, this is only a week old, but yeah.
But Miguel and Charlie have been pushing Fantom for a long time. There were a lot of decent products on there. There were also some very dangerous ones, like you said. But yeah, the revoke.cash is definitely something that you should do no matter what, whether there's a hack or not. You should do that periodically anyway, just to go through and any site that you haven't used in a long time, definitely revoke that and just keep yourself a little extra safe. You know, security is one of those things that, you know, took Richard a long time to find a working bridge that was trusted and never compromised and things like that. So they did their homework, and it's one of those things where, you know, every little bit of extra security goes a long way when you're talking billions of dollars traveling back and forth all the time. So yeah, I never really explored on the Fantom side of things. Never even bought Fantom really. So
Yeah.
I think the multi-chain though is a good idea. Obviously, we have that now with the PulseX or Pulse Swap
Yeah.
platform. With the multi bridge, multi layers. You can go from one chain, multi chain is what I was looking for.
Mhm.
Um, it's a great idea to be able to swap back and forth. I hope that none of that was part of it. I haven't heard anything being tied to um, any kind of hack, because I think you could use. I think Fantom was one of the ones listed, right, on the Pulse Swap.
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure if it's on there or not. But I mean, I do know. I mean, it's been a very popular. It was one of the most popular L1s from the last cycle, and not
Right.
only that, but I mean, it's a huge DeFi chain. I mean, like they had a ton of products and multiple dexes on there, and like some good staking mechanisms and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this is just going to hurt them really bad. There's just been too many drama filled crappy things that have happened with Fantom. Again,
Right.
like I mentioned, like Andre Cronier, who I get it. I mean, like it would be like, no, it wouldn't be like that. That's going too far. But like if Richard Hart were to up and literally disappear instead
Right.
of just not streaming for a few months.
So Andre was a
Yeah.
developer, though, right?
Yeah, that's
Like
what I was
he
gonna
was
say.
actually a developer.
Yeah, he was like a lead developer, which again, a whiz kid by all accounts and everything, and made Fantom what it was and stuff like that. But still, it shouldn't have that much of effect. But that just shows, the kind of effect a person can have on a chain. And admittedly, I don't think that was just obviously that's nothing compared to this issue with multi-chain. It's just another huge blow, basically a knockout punch for a chain that already had some crap stuff going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, and hey, I mean, not to trample on the dead, but I mean, one down in terms of PulseChain. I mean, it's
Yeah.
another chain just to sweep aside that has a massive hack basically with its biggest bridge, and I don't think people are going to be running to get into Fantom or Solana really. I mean,
Right.
this cycle, why would you? They
Right.
don't work, and there's been fraud massively. So
Sure. Yeah,
yeah.
it's all the more bullish for PulseChain and everything that's being built on it. Which there's still a lot of stuff that's coming. I mean, there's a lot of products that still haven't even launched yet. I
Mhm.
hope they do launch. And this goes to just a comment to make is, just because we don't talk about a lot of this stuff, in order to have PulseChain be successful and be one of those, we are going to need all the things that go along with a blockchain, and that includes there will be scammy things that happen.
Yeah.
There will be bad products. So you have to be accepting of everything, because we have that stuff on Ethereum. And that's one of the things that made Ethereum what it is, the second best token out there, is because they needed the gas to run it. Some not so desirable things, and we do have to remember that just because a new person's coming on, you kind of want to support people that are new to the chain, but it doesn't mean you have to push it to your audiences anyway. But yeah, I mean, we've got to have that kind of growth and development, or I just don't see the token value going up a whole bunch anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You want people to build on PulseChain, regardless of what it is, just to, you don't want scams, but you know that they're going to be there. That's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, you want people coming to your chain and building new kind of revolutionary things, or maybe even adapting some of the stuff that's on Ethereum and tweaking it a little bit and bringing it to PulseChain, whatever it may be. So,